You're listening to Angel Insights brought to you by SyndicateRoom, and today's episode takes us to Sweden to Bjorn Evers. Bjorn has over 15 years of experience from positions as CEO, board member and investor across multiple online industries such as management consulting, eGaming, online identification. If that wasn't enough, Bjorn is the first investor in Jumio and the original inventor of Jumio's identification product. In addition to this, Bjorn built Jumio's sales team from the start to establish its products as the standard for identification online as the billion-dollar business that it is today. Bjorn is also an early investor and board member of many successful innovative tech companies such as Betable, Skiomusic, Adventure, Seven Heaven and Devcode Payments. So now it's time to hand over to the fantastic Bjorn Evers. Bjorn, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on Angel Insights.
Thank you for having me. It's going to be a pleasure.
Now, I'd love to start off by hearing, how did you get into angel investing?
I had over a decade of experience from the eGaming industry when I actually received my first real pitch deck. And the timing was actually perfect for me. I actually had both time and money, and the startup that was described had what I believe the holy grail for e-gaming industry. And I believe that if you can fix a problem in the e-gaming industry, the solution would work in basically all online industries. That being said, I also clicked with the founder when we kind of did the due diligence. So I ended up investing not only money, but actually also my time to help build Jumio, which was the company, from scratch to what it is today. And today is a market leader in online identification.
And is that something that you often offer to startups, your time as well as your capital?
Yes, I do. I believe that it protects me a bit from the risk by being by helping them.
Absolutely,
with the time,
inside of the business. And you mentioned there your e-gaming experience, and you have a large knowledge of software providers and operators and marketing. How important do you think it is for angels to have this prior experience in the industry that they're investing?
Well, I can't speak for everyone, but for me it was key to at least initially know the industry because I didn't have that much experience investing. So, knowing the industry inside out, it was easier for me to get into to the investing, and I've always been good, at spotting great people and founders. So those two, knowing the industry and knowing people, that kind of was important for me initially.
And what would you consider your key value add to be then?
So now when I have a few years experience, I can also invest in other online industries, not just gaming. But I believe that my key value add, first of all, I think it's different for each startup. It's depending on skills, what kind of company it is. But my key value is to it's believing in the team and helping the team. I think I'm good at spotting great people and knowing what they're good at and what where they need more support. So to that's a long answer, but in short, I think my key value add is people. Understanding people.
Absolutely. And then what do you look for in founders? Are there any kind of tells that this is an investable founder for you?
That's a good question. I can take an example. I think the my latest investment, which is in the music industry, the founder there had the perfect fit. He was a law student. And he was a musician, and he understood that a big problem in the music industry is that there are lots of on the long tail side, there are lots of musicians that do not get paid for their work. They can't get the legal framework, so they're not they're not protected on the IP rights and the copyright. So he understood that as a lawyer, and he understood it as a musician. So he actually tried to fix the problem. So I think, and then on top of that, I think he's a superstar. But I think you need to have the combination where you are kind of a user, but on the same side you understand, you have the background to understand how to fix a problem for the users. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but also for Jumio was also a combination. The founder, he understood that it was a problem, and he was trying to book a flight with his credit card, and it was declined because it was in another country, and his credit card was in another country, so he was stopped due to the fraud risk.
Sure. Yeah.
So he understood that as well, and I believe that it's a combination of experience as a user and your professional background.
And then, as an angel, how do you approach deal flow? Where do you find your startups? Is it through referrals or meetup days? What's your best source?
For me, it's been LinkedIn. Actually, I haven't been as proactive in finding deals. It's mostly been, they coming to me via LinkedIn or my network. That is probably going to change, where I'm going to be a bit more proactive going forward. But as for now, it's been mostly reactive via LinkedIn.
Okay, so someone approaches you on LinkedIn, and then you engage in your kind of due diligence of the company. What metrics do you find yourself really honing in on and deep diving into?
Well, I think it's basically three parts for me. It's the market, it's product, and it's execution. First, I will look at the potential market, and for me, it needs to be big enough to build a billion-dollar company in that market. And I also believe that this part is not that difficult. There are lots of smart people out there that can, review a report and do the math and figure out how big the market is. However, if you know the industry, you know all the figures, so then it's even simpler. The second part is, it needs to be a real problem for the users in that market, and the company needs to fix that with the solution. And then, of course, there are lots of things around the solution, but I think for me, this is a bit more difficult than to analyze the market. You need to do a SWOT analysis, competitors, and lots of stuff like that. If you know the industry, it's much easier again to do the due diligence on the product side.
And then when you look at your portfolio now,
yeah,
and compare it to past and present and your strategy, has your strategy altered over time?
Yes, I would say it has. In the beginning, I mainly focused on the industry that I knew, which was the eGaming industry at the time, and then I kind of expanded that into other industries, and now I try to find companies that function as an enabler or infrastructure for an industry. You can have a look at Airbnb, Facebook, Google, Uber. They kind of are enablers, and then if you have a model that works for offline, it could be hotels, it can be Yellow Pages, taxis, whatever, and you scale it. You try to scale that online. So that's been a success for many companies. So in short, I try to find models that work for a big offline market and see if it kind of work online. And if I then believe in the team, again, I would definitely move in and try to help them. So today I'm not only investing in eGaming, it's payments, identity, dating, music, and it's gonna expand.
And when you expanded out of eGaming then, for the first time, did you sought external knowledge from friends or experts in the industry, or did you go it alone?
No, it was a kind of natural step for me. I invested, time and money into Jumio, and they had a, solution for the e-gaming industry, but it also worked for, multiple industries such as, airlines, financial industries and many more. So I kind of got the knowledge by helping Jumio, and then, it was a natural step where I started investing in other industries as well.
And in recent years, we've seen a much greater prominence of group investing or investing with other people. Do you like this approach, or do you prefer to go individually?
Oh, well, for me, it's been, moving in individually, and then when I do see that the model works, I reach out to my network and friends, and because I've been really protective. I think you need to protect your network, and it's almost like I rather lose my own money than my friends' money. You only get one chance. So I have actually been inviting, what I call the Jumio Mafia to some of the investments, but I always invested first myself, and saw some traction, and then I invited them.
And how do you determine which members of the Jumio Mafia, as you put it, to invite? Are there any characteristics that you look for?
Well, really, it's been, I think it's different depending on what kind of companies we invest in and so forth. But for me, it's been, there needs to be a trust and respect for me with the individuals bring in. Because when, times get tough and as a storm comes, you need to help each other and, use that storm to move forward instead of, sink, so to say. So for me, it's trust and respect.
And we hear a lot about angel investors and their interaction with the founders and the company. What is your activity with them? Do you take then... How often do you meet with the founders, and what kind of response levels do you expect from them?
Well, they, first of all, we almost never meet, in real life. It's, if I invest in a company from Vancouver, we meet via Skype, right? And of course,
you would never have met face to face.
Well, I have met them face to face initially, but then now it's been probably 2 years since we met. Sometimes I meet them in London when I'm in London. So it's typical they reach out and they ask for some, can you have a look at the latest pitch deck, or what do you think about, we're going to do a partnership with this company, what do you think? So it's really reaching out and asking for my advice. And sometimes, obviously, I reach out and ask for an update when, something big has happened. So it's a bit different depending on company.
And how often would you say your contact with them is? Is it a weekly, monthly, quarterly?
Some companies it's weekly. It can almost be daily for some companies, and for some companies it can be once per month. I think it's if it's a founder who. And the companies is first. I think it's more that we have more regular contact. But if the founder has started companies before, it's not that it doesn't need as much support. Then it's more that I invest money than time.
And do you find that with serial entrepreneurs, founders who've done it before, the valuation of their companies is much higher? And are you happy to pay that for the knowledge that they have done it before?
That's good that you ask that. I think that serial entrepreneurs reduce the risk. We talked earlier about what I look for when I do due diligence. I look for market product, but mainly it's execution that I think is key. And VCs, when they invest, they try to invest in serial entrepreneurs because that reduces the execution risk a lot. The valuation will go up, obviously, because the risk goes down, and often serial entrepreneurs, they have some money, so they can bootstrap the company themselves, and that will further increase the valuation. And with Jumio, it was founded by a serial entrepreneur, so that exactly, so the Daniel Mattis. So the valuation was a bit higher, and the risk was a bit low, which was good for me because that's kind of where I came into angel investing. And now I try to invest in even earlier stages. Try to come in the seed round, and often the founder are not serial entrepreneurs, so the valuation is much lower. It can be 10 times lower. The risk is much higher, and probably I need to support them more.
And what would you say then your kind of success rate is? We often hear that 90% go bust within 2 years or a year. What would you say yours is when you look at your portfolio?
Well, I've only been at it for 5 years, and still I haven't seen any failures. I'm sure that will come, but so far so good. And if one company fails, I'm sure I'm going to learn something from that.
What's been the most difficult or challenging aspect of your angel investing experience so far?
I would say what I've experienced is that when the company becomes bigger, is that it becomes a different type of company. It's they need to consider how the market reacts when they release information. So it's more secrets. The financial information is not always as public. As not public, but you don't get access to all the information when you ask for that. But if you the smaller the companies, there's no market consideration in that sense.
And then if it's okay with you, we're going to move into a quick fire round.
Sure.
So your favourite angel investing resource? It could be a book, a blog, or a podcast.
Well, as I mentioned, I try to use LinkedIn quite a lot. I think LinkedIn is a great tool to find people, or if someone wants you to invest in their company, you can see who they are linked to, and you can speak with if you have common contacts, so to say. I also try to use Quora a lot. I'm not sure if you...
Yeah, Quora. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think, But, I have actually bought a few VC books, but I haven't had the time yet to read them. I think it's more fun learning from the trenches, more kind of a street guy in that sense.
Do you try to invest like a VC? Is that your goal? In terms of kind of excessive due diligence, investment committee style review processes, that sort of thing?
Not really. I try to, I think if you compare angel investing to VC investing, I think it's more kind of gut feeling for angels than VC. They can take a couple of months doing a big due diligence, and they have massive resources to do that. As an angel, you kind of use your network a bit more and your experience from the industry. So that being said, since with the success I've had with my investing, that comes with more work, so to say. The more companies you invest in, the more companies need to help, and the more companies reach out to you for investments. So I've actually reached out now to a few VCs to see how we can work together, because I don't have the capacity to handle the deal flow that comes in. And
what VCs would you like to work with?
Without saying any names, I think for me right now the first step would be to have a look locally. So I set a few meetings with the Sweden top VC companies, and then from there it would be probably London and Silicon Valley. But for now I will start by speaking with Sweden Stockholm VCs.
And how do you measure your success as an angel? Is it on returns?
Well, I think if you if you have a look at, how do you determine if you're successful, I think, from the outside, I think it's, it's money, follow the money, right? It's valuations, exit valuations, all that kind of stuff that, if you look at from the outside. From the inside, when I say inside, I mean, the company itself, would they determine if you are a successful investor in the company? I think it's how you help them grow, and then I think for you to be a successful investor, you probably need both, right? Because if you don't have the outside success, you're gonna run out of money eventually, and if you don't have the inside success or respect, right? No one is gonna come asking for money, because so you need both. Yeah.
And then your investing ethos in a sentence.
It's probably gonna be execution, and people, right? You fire fast, you hire slow.
And then your most recent investment and why you said yes.
So the recent investment I made was actually a follow-up kind of bridge investment in this music company, Skiomusic. So I mean, just in short, what they're trying to do here, they're trying to fix the back end, or the B2B side of the music industry. If you take Spotify as an example, they fixed kind of the front end, or on the user side, they took the music industry and tried to put it online, right?
Absolutely.
And what Skiomusic is doing, they are on the back end side today. It's very offline based. You have a record label, you have a manager, and you need to sign. You need to speak with a lawyer to get the contract in order, and all that stuff is fine if you're like Madonna or someone like that. But if you're like a famous DJ today, or even long tail, you have like tons of musicians that they cannot get access to that framework. So they might publish their work, but they're not protected on the legal side. So I think the market is huge, right? So Skio starts by trying to fix this for the music industry, but looking long term, it can be an IP vehicle. They can fix it for movies. It can be photos. It can be anything that are protected by copyrights, right? And if you just look at Google today, they get over 1 million copyright takedown requests per day, over 1 million, right? So that it's a huge problem, and someone needs to fix it. And I think this company, the founder, is a perfect guy to do that.
What hugely exciting times ahead, and Bjorn, thank you so much for joining us on this very special episode of Angel Insights.
Thank you, Harry.
As always, you can find all the items and resources mentioned in today's amazing episode with Bjorn on the website at www.syndicateroom.com, and alongside that there will obviously be the accompanying article on some items mentioned in today's show. And if you're really enjoying the show, we'd be so grateful if you could click the link in the description for the podcast. This will take you to a direct click to tweet, so you don't even have to type the tweet out, but we would be so grateful for that. And as always, we'd like to remind you that when investing in early stage companies, your capital is at risk, so please do engage in the proper due diligence. A huge thank you for your continued support, and stay tuned for our next amazing episode.